Ah, there we go. I wasn't sure if I'd ever get this thing going. I was about ready to save the MP3 file, and there were literally 10 other things I had to do. I didn't know I didn't have. I had to get the lane downloaded. Well, y'all know about that. Uh, this is about the only way I can make my YouTube debut at the moment. I don't have everything I need put together. Um, so I'm gonna do something here that normally I see YouTubers only do once they hit a certain subscriber count milestone. You could, I suppose, I could say that I've done the same thing, but the subscriber count in my case is zero. But it's zero as opposed to undefined because it took me a long time to get here and to figure out that I wanted to try doing this. Um, I'm disabled. I've had to deal with a lot of health problems the last 15 years. I'm not going to go into that. Okay. My name is Mark Hancock, but put that aside because I will be going by the name SecretFinalBoss. If you can't tell from that I'm an RPG fan, well, you're not paying attention. Um, so that's a pretty simple thing here. Almost every game has a final boss, but then sometimes it trips you up. You don't. There's someone behind the guy. I mean, just think of you Yevon from Final Fantasy X. You think the boss is Sin, and so on. Um, it's only recently that I've had the kind of internet set up that allows me to enjoy YouTube on a semi-regular basis. It's still not adequate, but I figure things out. Um, about three and a half years ago, that's when I first started to notice the gaming channels. John Tron, Peanut Butter Gamer, Game Theory. I really only saw some episodes of the first two, and then skip ahead 2 years. I'm basically convalescing from some surgery months earlier and some complications, and I go back to YouTube and start um, taking in some more things. The big one was game theory. Now, that got me hooked because I sort of uh, I study a lot of subjects on my own time um, because I wasn't able to go to school for a while, and game theory really appealed to me because I've been a gamer for a very long time. I was actually a gamer from slightly before the video game home video game market crashed in '83, uh, and I've been an anime fan since '93. I kind of came in on a wave of of uh, of growth of the fandom for anime in this country. Uh, See, I've been to several anime conventions during the '90s and a few in the last decade. Um, let's see. I'm sorry, people. Please bear with me. I'm going on no script here. It's the middle of the night. I barely got this place set up. Uh, I had to, I had to get myself psyched up. I had to watch a little Lost Pause, a little Dashy Games, some high energy there um, to get me going. And what I want to do with this channel, either myself or with a friend, make this a two-person deal, is, well, Let's Play channel. Um, the RPGs I tend to favor are RPGs. That's the turn-based RPGs. That's my favorite genre. Um, Mainly because my hands aren't completely. Basically, I have a hard time with bullet hell games. Beyond that, I'm pretty much okay. Although fighting games, I got burned out on those in the mid '90s because they just took over the video arcades and the two-player cooperative games that were dominant in the arcades from about '87 on for the next few years because of Double Dragon. Um, I guess Ikari Warriors even before that. That's not a good example. Um, and all he had, and then yes, Street Fighter Two did give the video arcade a few more years of life as a mainstream place to go for entertainment, but the variety of game was less. Um, Second. Sorry about that. I had to pause and just try to get back on track here. Um, Another reason I feel like I can even try to do this is because back in May I I decided to finally get active on Twitter. I had actually had my Twitter account since 2011, but it was just dormant for 4 years, and maybe had 10 tweets on it. So in May, what ended up happening was that was the first time I saw anything by Markiplier. And on May 16th, he was about to come home from this YouTube event, some kind of conference in New York, and it was after the last day. He was in his hotel room. He was exhausted, but he was feeling very pumped, very optimistic about what he just experienced. And so he just recorded a very spontaneous video, which to me was one of the most powerful, positive messages I ever heard. That video is called "We Are YouTube." It's on his list. Being disabled, I've had to deal with the disability advocacy groups. Well, not so much the groups, but people here and there. That there's always this "don't give up" message, but they didn't. There were some things that happened that basically alienated me from them. But the way Markiplier spoke in this video, it was pure. And I finally, at that point, felt like I might be able to do something myself. So I started just doing something on Twitter. I kind of figured out, if I want to get followers, just keep tweeting, just keep doing something, be visible, be out there. So we're about 7 months and a week later, and from nothing, I've accumulated over 250 followers. And it still feels funny because I feel like it's been done based on having no content to back it up. Not really. Every time I take a step ahead to get to this point, always a couple of steps back. But I think at least in here, if you hear a lot of background noise, you're gonna have to pardon me. I mean, this is not a studio. I have a Blue Yeti microphone here, just recording into a laptop. And in fact, this room doesn't even have standard insulation. It's just me and my cat Spaggy, and obviously no video yet. I'm going to rectify that. I need to figure out how everyone uh, gets the game footage recorded and then puts the overlays themselves. And of course, it's all done live. I mean, it's recorded, but it's done simultaneously. The YouTubers I'm following quite a few, but I guess the big ones. Let's see. Most of the normal boots guys. So we're talking John Tron, Peanut Butter Gamer, the Completionist. That's a big one. This is on that. Pro Jared, yes. Let's see, and then the Game Theory, of course, and another one, Some Ordinary Gamers, as in Mudahar Anas. Really enjoy him. Jacksepticeye, especially right now, I've been following his Undertale. It's this little game that you might have heard of. I'm not sure. Undertale playthrough. Blasphemous HD. Soul Mungry. There's another one. And oh, come on, Mark. I get stuck like this. Oh yeah, I mentioned Lost Paws. I mentioned Dashi. Let's see. Oh, the Anime Man a little bit here and there. Okay, I got tongue-tied there again. Where I want to go next with this. I'm not a millennial. I come from a previous generation, but I'm really enjoying what's happening these days. Especially the YouTube poops, and that's not for everyone. But what I'm seeing with that is sort of the evolution of what was going on at the end of the 80s into the 90s, the anime parody dubs done by various groups throughout the country. And I mean, these things were done, just to put it one way, by hand. I mean, one group's name, slogan was Two Guys with a VCR. I mean, I even tried producing one myself back in '96, and it was too daunting a task for me. I still wonder how these. It's amazing how much these guys did get done, and the YouTube poop, I think, is the current form of that kind of fandom. And I have to admit that when I got to 100 followers, one of the big reasons for that, I believe, was that I sort of latched on to the MLP parody fandom, and just started using a lot of that in my shtick, and eventually I hit that 100 count, and it kept going. Now, that's not mainly what I do now. Right now, the Undertale fandom there's something going on with this game. I've been around long enough just to I can't quite put it to words. From what I've seen in the game, I am seeing references in this game to every other video game I have ever seen, and musically have ever heard. I don't know how Toby Fox has done it. Obviously, this game has touched the hearts and souls of a very wide base. It's doing. I see it doing things that even the Earthbound didn't do, even though that was its primary inspiration. Um, it's I'm just kind of latching on, riding that wave. Um, yeah. Let's see, God, it's 4 in the morning. Yeah, a lot of dead air. I feel like I'm just gonna bore you all to death if I keep going, but I hope this isn't the only thing I end up putting out. Uh, so, for the time being, this is Secret Final Boss, and I hope you'll be able to hear from me again.